Another day at the community kitchen. Often in your food bank you will find eggplant, and I think maybe a lot of you don't know what to do with with the eggplants, and sometimes the quality might vary. So how do we get the most out of our eggplant and how to do a dish that might be pleasing to the whole family? It's eggplant parmigiani, which is like a lasagna, but instead of pasta you put layers of roasted eggplant. So I'm gonna go through this recipe pretty fast. So that's one way to use your eggplant. The other way, if you look back in the recipe, I think the second one I did was a pasta primavera, where I had chopped up the veggies and roasted in the oven and just added that to a pasta or rice or whatever dish you wanted to have. You can do the same recipe and add eggplant to it. Just chopped it up in cube and added to the tomatoes, and it was peppers and onion and mushroom, and just with olive oil and spice, add that in the oven to roast it, and that would also be a good add-on. That's kind of like what they call ratatouille at that point. But today it's eggplant parmigiani. Let's try this. First part of my recipe is to take my eggplant, slice them in thin slice about 1 centimeter thick. We're gonna lay that down, put some oil and salt and pepper, and roast that in the oven for, they say about 20-ish minutes because it's at 425 to roast. So I'm gonna get rid of the tail here, get that. So I've got some soft spot here. So I wanna, when I do Parmigiani, I want the longest, biggest slice that I want. So I'm gonna just maybe take off the skin on this part and then just go from there. Try to eyeball about, and that it looks pretty good even though it's soft. At this point though, I might want to go in there and check why is it soft. It's just kind of a light bruise. It's not brown or yucky or anything. So I'll keep that. So I keep on slicing. For this particular, I want about 3 pounds of eggplant, and I have no idea how much this weighs. See, that's gonna give us some big, long slice. So what I'm gonna do here, put some oil, salt, and roast that. Got a bit of olive oil here. I could just dribble on top, but if you have a brush or something to brush, it makes it more even. Here. And you can also do the other side. I think in 10 minutes I'll flip them over. So start with that, roast your veggies. Okay, one pro tip. I did another tray of eggplant, put it on parchment paper, so much easier to handle. If you have parchment paper, use it. So to give you an idea of what, beautiful music. To give you an idea, we're gonna be filling this stuff with a layer of sauce, a layer of eggplant, some mozzarella. Sauce, eggplant, mozzarella, like 3, we should have 3 layers of that. And at the top, we're gonna add Parmesan on top. So while this is roasting, I need to prepare a sauce, like a tomato sauce. I'm gonna prepare a quick sauce with onions, and I had leftover zucchini and leftover pepper. So I'm gonna chop this up and start a sauce. Right, finished chopping. This is the beginning of my sauce. So I'm gonna heat this up. I'm gonna add some olive oil. I'm gonna be cooking my onions and my garlic at not too high, about 4, which is like under half, medium minus, something like that. One thing, you know, I'm gonna be adding more vegetable in this sauce. I've chopped up the peppers quite small, and also decided to grate my zucchini so everything would be more smoother and more spreadable. But this sauce, you could also just make it a tomato sauce. Just add a bit of onion, garlic, tomato sauce, a crushed tomato canned crushed tomato. Anyway, with some Italian seasoning. That could be just it. That's as simple as you can get. I went online and found out the ingredients for Italian seasoning and made my own, and I keep it, label it, so I don't have to buy the whole mixture. I have all the ingredients that make Italian spice, which is basically oregano, thyme, basil, maybe a bit of rosemary and sage. Oh, that was high up there. Powdery. So I'm just gonna add a tablespoon of that for now and add the rest of my veggies. So I'm gonna let the veggies cook down for a bit. Like any good sauce, you want the vegetable to be cooked, soft, before adding the tomato sauce. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is what my eggplant, once they're roasted, look like. Sizzling. So they gotta reduce, they're a little bit mushy. I'm gonna let them cool a little bit while I finish my sauce. Okay, comment if sniffing powdered spices make you sneeze, especially rosemary. I'm super vulnerable for rosemary powder for some reason. I will sneeze. Comment if you do. Right, de-assembling. Move that out of the way. Like we say, we want layers. We're gonna start with a layer of sauce. I haven't put anything in the bottom of my pan. The sauce, I think, is gonna help prevent sticking. Maybe, maybe not. So I want to cover the bottom. Add layers of Parmesan. Eggplant. This is eggplant. So I'm kind of trying not to overlap them too much, maybe a little bit, because I don't want it to be uneven. And trying to maybe split one in order to make it fit in little cracks. I will show you what my first layer looks like. Probably could put a little bit, stuff that's really thin, I guess it's okay to put just on top. So that's my first layer. On top of that, we're gonna put some more sauce and cheese. At this point, I don't want things to be too thick because I want to be able to fit. I want to be able to fit everything I have in there. So just a thin layer of sauce on top. Cover the eggplant. I have a whole bunch of leftover cheese. I'm just gonna, so about a quarter cup that we'll put on top. Again, continuing. This is gonna look, this looks really good. So roughly that was 2 full eggplants. Gonna have better coverage. Right, so the last layer, a bit more sauce. See, I haven't had one Parmesan thing that was already open, so clumps up because the humidity gets in there. The longer it is in the fridge, it's a tendency of clumping up. I'm just gonna spread that. So that adds more flavor because the flavor of Parmesan is more intense. 20-25 minutes. I'll put that back, 20-25 minutes at 425, and then I'm gonna bring it out and let it rest about 15 minutes before starting to cut, because I want it to like cool off a little bit and maybe it'd be easier to cut at that point. So in the oven, and then we'll see it afterward. I'm gonna put this in the oven, but I'm gonna put it in a tray like that because it's very liquidy. If it bubbles over, I don't want to mess in my oven. This is gonna be easier to clean up. All right, So this is our big eggplant parmesan, and I also made a smaller version here with the leftovers. That was really quick to do, not too complicated. There you go. Now test time. This one I didn't add Parmesan on top, it was the leftover. It's really nice. Again, if you want to simplify it, just use canned sauce. Super easy. Layers with cheese in between. So try it. If you have another eggplant recipe that you like, leave a comment. See you next time. Bye.